So this garden was designed exactly as Jannah is described in the Quran. That is the place where people would go and make the adhan for this mosque. And now you can hear, see, now it's the bell for the church. The timing, crazy. You know what, let's check which way the Qibla actually is from here. Guys, subhanAllah, what I'm about to show you will blow your mind. Straight in front of us is the Qibla, and the floor is directly facing the Qibla. They built empires, transformed cities, and left behind a legacy that still stands almost 1,000 years later. The world remembers Spain for its cathedrals, its palaces, and its Christian history. But what if there was more to the story? We've travelled deep into southern Spain to the city of Seville, once one of the great cities of Al-Andalus, a place where Muslims once prayed, where the call to prayer echoed from towers above the city, and where traces of Islamic history are still hidden in plain sight. Today, we're going in search of what remains. Our journey starts here in Seville. Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum guys, and welcome to Seville on España. This is my first time here in Spain in over 15 years. Man, growing up, I was all over those all-inclusive chicken nugget and chip holidays on the islands of Spain. But now we're here in the mainland of Spain, so it's my first time here. And what a way to kick it off, man. The architecture here is just absolutely unreal. It's like a twist between European and North African. In fact, as we walk around, you're going to see a lot of buildings here that you look at and you say, mate, this could be pulled straight out of Morocco. And there's so much Islamic architecture and Islamic history as well, which we're going to explore today. But this ain't a history lesson, you know. We're here to have fun, we're here to enjoy ourselves. So we're going to check out some of the tourist spots, the halal food. But the focus today is very much on the Islamic community here, the Islamic history. So we start today's video by heading to... Actually, let me tell you how I found this place, right? Last night, as you do when you arrive in any city as a Muslim, first thing you do, Google Maps, halal, right? Couldn't find really that much, found a decent amount of things. I was like, okay, let me try my other alternatives. Islamic food, Muslim food. And it came up with this mosque, which was, before the major mosque was built here in Seville, everyone on a Friday for the Juma prayer would meet at this other mosque, which is a lot smaller than the major mosque, but it was the main Juma Mosque for the Muslims that reigned here for over 800 years. So we're gonna head there now and check that out. But as we're walking now to that old mosque, which is now a cathedral, you can see what I mean about it has that European Morocco sort of twist. Like, bro, if you've ever been to the north of Morocco, Tangier, this looks like it's been pulled straight out of Tangier. All right, guys, and this is it, the minaret of the old mosque. Like I said, this is the minaret of the mosque that was used here for Juma in Seville. And as you can see here on the wall, it says Cordoba, which was the capital of the Islamic, like, kind of state here in Spain. So that is the capital of the Islamic region in the southern of Spain. But this is the original minaret, which has now been turned, I'll let you have a guess. This has now been turned into a church, as you can see here. But when I go in here and show you, you're gonna see exactly what I mean about how this was a mosque. Like, bro, you go to most mosques around the world and the courtyard, it looks like this, right? It looks like an Islamic courtyard. As you can see, this is the fountain here where people would make wudu, they would make ablution before they go and they pray their Friday prayers. So it's actually a lot bigger than I expected. And as I mentioned, this part is now a church, which was originally the mosque. Yeah, this is the minaret here. And as you can see now, they've replaced it with bells, which is obviously the church way of like call to prayer kind of thing. But originally, someone would go up there and they would make the adhan from this exact tower here. And I forgot to tell you, but the name of this place, right? If you are Spanish, you're about to have an absolute aneurysm over the way I'm going to pronounce this. Minaret de la Mezquita de Isbiliya. So that's the name of this place. And most tourists actually miss this place. But yeah, look, it's literally like the courtyard of a mosque. And I want to give a little bit of context as well to like what Islam was actually like here in Seville, Spain. Basically, it was Muslim reign for over 800 years. And then the Catholics came and they conquered it. And for a few years, you could still kind of practice Islam, like kind of practice Islam, I say. But then as hundreds of years started passing on, it got to the point where if you didn't become a Catholic, you had to leave. So there were still some Muslims that stayed and they would try and practice secretly, but it was really, really a hard time for them. Most of them actually just converted or they just completely left the region. But yeah, this was the original Juma Friday prayer mosque. Just imagine on a Friday, this place would have been full to the brim for Juma. And as I mentioned, because Seville was Muslim, right? So it was like probably like hundreds of thousands of Muslims lived here in the past. And now in Seville, there are only 30,000 Muslims, and only 9,000 of them actually live in this central point. The other 21,000, they all live in the outskirts of Seville. So the numbers are still pretty, compared to what it used to be, you would never really assume off the population numbers that this place used to be Muslim. But it is because of that simple fact of, if you didn't become Catholic Christian, you needed to leave, man. You couldn't practice Islam here. If you were caught practicing Islam once the rule came in place of either join us or leave, and you still try to practice Islam, then I can imagine the consequence could be quite severe for that. So I'm not laughing, by the way, I'm trying to say it in the softest way possible, but I can imagine that the consequence would have been very severe for that. Right, let's head now to the main mosque of Seville. It was the main mosque, should I say, and once again, it's now a church. It's actually called Cathedral de Seville. Mate, my Spanish is awful. But yeah, this is the huge cathedral. It's actually the biggest Gothic cathedral in the world. So we're gonna head there now, and I will explain everything about how it used to be a mosque when we get there. So yalla. All right, as we start heading to the cathedral, I've actually been listening to this guy called Umar Seledinsky. He is a Quran reciter from Dagestan. And I'm just listening to him now and walking around these beautiful streets, listening to the Quran. And whilst I've been traveling, I've actually been using today's sponsor, which is Raycon. These earbuds, mate, they are insane, especially for when you are traveling. And I'm gonna tell you the reasons why I love them now. First reason is they don't sit inside your ear, they sit on top of your ear, as you can see here. So you don't get that annoying earache. Like if you're sat on a plane for 9-10 hours on the way to Asia, your ears are gonna kill by the end of it if you wear like normal inserted headphones. Whereas these earbuds, they just sit nicely on top of the ear. They also loop over the ear. So if you want to use them for the gym, running, being healthy, then they also have that benefit as well. But the main reason that I personally love them is the audio quality is crisp. For over 32 hours of audio on these bad boys. And whilst I'm walking around, it's so important that I'm able to hear what's going on around me and being aware, you know? A lot of the times I'm walking around these little streets, and especially in other places in the world, the traffic is on the opposite side of the road, which I always forget. So being able to hear what's going on around me is super important. It's the perfect combination of being able to listen to something in high quality whilst hearing what's going on around you and soaking in the environment. Since Raycon were kind enough to sponsor this video, they've also given you guys 20% off their essential open earbuds right now, which can scan the QR code on the screen, or you can visit buyraycon.com/IslamLewisOpen. The link is in the description, it's in the comments. Thanks again, Raycon, for sponsoring this video. All right, guys, Maps is saying that we've almost arrived now to the cathedral. It should just be at the end of this road, and we should see it to the right. But look at the streets here, guys. They are just so beautiful. And Seville is one of those cities, where it's like it's much like a maze. There are so many of these beautiful little back streets with hotels on them. I'm not sure what this one is. I think it's something religious. But like a religious building, we have hotels, we have cafes. It's really just like a beautiful city. But as I say with many cities, this place is extremely, extremely hot. The heat right now in July, when I'm filming this video, is 40 degrees. It's a furnace, man. It is like being in the center of the desert. It is so hot. When I arrived here yesterday, the heat was so dry and hot and intense. It wasn't like Asia heat. It was just pure intense, like daggers. But yeah, because it's so inland and there's no sea around it, the heat here is just really, really brutal. And we have arrived. Subhanallah. The reason I say subhanallah is because this minaret is the original from when it was a mosque. They've kept it the same. The only thing that they have changed is the bell inside again. It used to be a place where the adhan was made, and now they've put a bell there for the Christian. Is it like a call to prayer? I'm not too sure. Anyway, yeah, this building is not the original mosque though. I want to make that very clear. This is not the original mosque building. The original mosque building, unfortunately, it was destroyed, you could say, taken down, and they built this on top of the complex. So you can imagine, originally these grounds here, they were the mosque, and this was the minaret to the mosque right here. And what a beautiful, beautiful minaret. Look at the architecture. It really looks Arab. It looks like Arab Islamic architecture. It's super, super beautiful. And as I've just arrived here, I've already seen that there are a lot of Muslims around here that are taking pictures specifically of this minaret. And we are actually going to climb up this minaret soon. I just need to buy the ticket for the cathedral. So it's like a joint ticket. You can go in the cathedral and the minaret and it's all one price. I think it's about 15 euros. You can book it online and it's cheaper. You get to skip the queue, all of that. It's more convenient, but I always like to show you guys the process. Like if there's a queue, I want to show that there is a queue. Do you know what I mean? But this building is very impressive. I'll admit, it's very, very impressive. And when I'm filming these Islamic videos, I don't want to cause any sort of like division of religion or anything like that. I can still appreciate the beauty of a building, whether it's a church, whether it's a mosque, a synagogue. You know, I always believe that everyone should live peacefully and in harmony, and it is a very beautiful, beautiful building. But look at that, man. And you're gonna hear me say a lot in this video, but it really just reminds me of being here, well, of being in Morocco, should I say. It looks exactly like a minaret you would see in the middle of Morocco. Okay, let's go now and try and buy ourselves a ticket. We also have the option of taking a tour guide with a horse around. I think he's gonna take you around the major tourist sites here in Seville. Man, it's such a beautiful day. Look how beautiful this place is. It's like a castle. But usually these, I find them to be very, very expensive. Like when I was in Poland, I asked the price of one of these and it was something crazy. Like it turned out to £50, whatever zloty it was. It worked out to about £50, so extremely expensive. And do you know what this reminds me of? I uploaded a video like, I don't know, maybe 2-3 weeks ago where I was in the Philippines in a Spanish area. Bro, it looks just like Intramuros. Obviously that was where the Spanish set up in Asia and they built their own like little city and stuff. And it looks just like this, bro. I just clocked it. Like when I saw the horse and I saw the buildings, I was like, mate, it literally reminds me of being back in the Philippines, Intramuros. Right, where do we go and actually buy this ticket? Man, this is a big, big cathedral. When I looked at the pictures online, I knew it said it was the biggest Gothic cathedral, but I did not expect it to be this big. So the first mosque we went to, that one was the Juma prayer mosque. That's what we're gonna call it, the Juma prayer mosque, because that is where people used to meet for Friday prayers before the mosque that was originally here was built. So that was the main Juma prayer mosque. Now this one, this complex where this has been built, this was the main mosque of Seville. Whereabouts is the ticket? Is it this way or this way?
Do you have tickets?
I want to buy a ticket.
Question, would you like to visit it with a guided tour or without?
Without, please.
Directly here.
Just by here, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, what is the price? Let's see. So online it's 13 euros or 7 euros, and in person it's 14 euros or 8 euros. So it's going to be 14 euros for us. As with a mosque or any religious building, there is a dress code, man. You can't wear short shorts or little crop tops and stuff like that. You need to wear modest clothing. And of course, I'm always wearing modest clothing anyway. I always wear my shorts below the knee. Oh, there's not even a queue. Online it said, oh, if you come, be prepared to wait. There's going to be a big queue. But this is literally the queue, like 10 people. And we are now inside the cathedral. So the price in my currency, 14 euros, works out to £11.93, which that's incredible. Like, that is so affordable, you know, across Europe, Turkey, those kind of places. I find that these kind of things are super expensive. Usually they're like 30 euros, but for 14 euros, you can never complain with this. So far, a lot of it is like, what would you call it? Kind of like Christian art, I would call it. Yeah, a lot of Christian art, like the kings and the royalty, that kind of thing. Look, as you can see, there's like a king here with women, San Lazaro, San Marto. I'm not really all that educated, to be honest, with, I think this is religious. I'm not really all that educated with like the Christian side of Spain. So I'm really sorry if you watch this video thinking that I could tell you a little bit about it, but unfortunately I only studied the Islamic side for this video. So this is the entrance point. Anyway, we scanned a QR code on the ticket and it led us straight into here. And I think it creates this big loop of like a cathedral complex. So we have more like religious points here, and let's head inside now, the main part. I think it's gonna be really, really busy in here. This is, by the way, the biggest tourist attraction here in Seville. We have a nice little courtyard here. And there is another courtyard actually connected to this cathedral, which used to be the mosque's courtyard. So once again, we're going to see another Islamic courtyard where people they would make ablution, they would make wudu, and then they would go and pray. Kind of like this. I'm not sure if this is the exact one. I don't think it is, because the one that I'm going to show you has like orange trees and stuff, and it's super beautiful. But this once again, it looks like an area where you would make ablution to pray. And let's head inside. Oh, wow. This place is huge. Oh my lordy. It is crazy big. Wow, this place is honestly huge. It's actually really impressive. Like the architecture itself is insanely beautiful, man. It is really beautiful. The size comparison I would compare it to is, you know, the Hassan II Mosque in Casablanca. Like when I walked in, the size of it feels similar, kind of similar. It doesn't look similar. It just feels like the size-wise is very similar. So if I was to compare it in terms of like the significance of how big it really is, I would say Hassan II Casablanca, very similar. But look at the architecture and the details. A lot of things you're gonna see, like this roof, you see them in Muslim countries, man. I see a lot of this kind of design, like the ceiling. And I think now it's been kind of turned into like a museum. Like as I'm looking around, I'm seeing like a lot of, looks like history that's been preserved, like artifacts and stuff, like royal outfits and then over here we also have another little area. I'm not sure if like there is a main prayer area. I think that's this area here. I think the main part where people, they go and pray, I believe it's this area here. And this now is the main part of the cathedral where people, I think they come and they do their prayers. As you can see, a lot of people are sat here. I don't know if they still run like sermons here on Sunday. I would assume they do, but because it's such a influential tourist site, I'm not sure if they've like kind of cut that out. And this is the central point of the cathedral as well. It looks like a court. I think it's a court, right? It looks like a court where people are getting, you're guilty, mate, get out. But subhanAllah, it's just crazy to think that hundreds, thousands of Muslims used to come on these same grounds and pray their prayers. Crazy. And this is the main area that I really, really wanted to come here and show you. And this is the same courtyard that the mosque used to use. You know, oh, it's so beautiful though. SubhanAllah, it's so beautiful. These trees here as well, they are actually orange trees. It's not the, well, I think the ones that are ripe have been taken off, but you see these little, they look like limes, right? They're actually orange trees or tangerines, whatever you want to call it. They're little orange trees. So once they are actually full of oranges, it looks absolutely incredible here. And this fountain here would be, of course, where you come and make your ablution. In the old times, before they had all these wudu stations underground and stuff, like this is how things used to be. People used to come to the fountain, they would make their ablution, and then I assume around here would be the mosque area, right? There's the minaret, and around here would be the huge mosque of Seville, and people would go and pray their prayers. We'll explore a little bit more of the cathedral, and then this is the part I've been excited for the most. We're actually going to climb the minaret and go to the top. So I think it's going to be a really beautiful and slightly emotional experience as well, because that is the place where people would go and make the adhan for this mosque. And now you can hear, see, now it's the bell for the church. The timing, crazy, subhanAllah. So yeah, we're actually going to go up there. It should give us a nice view of the city, but also a view of where the call to prayer was made for this mosque. Well, what was a mosque. It was such a beautiful courtyard here. I really wish I could have brought you guys when the trees were like full of oranges. Like, as you can, I can see one here now. You're gonna have to do a little bit of imagination with me, like I'm trying to imagine as well. But you can see in the tree here that there is some little oranges that are like almost ripe. And when it's the right time, these trees are just full of beautiful oranges, and it just looks incredible. Guys, I almost missed this because I was just too drawn in by the courtyard. But look at this. The entrance. This is where the entrance of the mosque would have been. The Islamic archways, as you can see. And this is also called the door of forgiveness. This door here. This is actually the northern main entrance to what would have been the mosque. Guys, subhanAllah, what I'm about to show you will blow your mind. So as you see, it's now a cathedral. But look at the flooring. Which way is it facing? And the whole building is facing this same way, right? Directly forward. If we stand in the middle of the tile here and look forward, which way is the Qibla? Subhanallah, straight in front of us is the Qibla. That is crazy. I don't know what it was, just made me think, you know what, let's check which way the Qibla actually is from here. And the floor is directly facing the Qibla. I think most people will miss this. I don't know what just made me just come on my phone and just check. The floor is facing directly to the Qibla. before we climbed the Giralda Tower minaret, I had to grab myself a bottle of water, and I thought I'd have to leave and try and come back in and it'd be all complicated, but no, there's actually, in the courtyard area, as you can see here, this is the courtyard, there's actually this little shop here where you can buy yourself fans, gifts, there's loads of like Islamic tile work as well. Like, you know, in Fez, Morocco, I know I keep saying Morocco, and you guys probably hate it by now, but in Fez, Morocco, they are the ones who are known to make the tile work. You can buy loads of the little things here that are of that kind of tile work. And also you can buy little like wooden sculptures of the minaret as well. Let's climb the old minaret. Luckily, I know quite a few little facts I can give you about this place, so we don't really need a tour guide, but I want to show you, look at the design of the walkway up. It's very spacious, right? Really wide walkway. And that is because, and also there's no steps, as you see, there's no steps, it's just purely flat. And that is because when the person would go to make the adhan, they would ride a horse up to the top, so they didn't have to walk it every day, which, subhanAllah, it's just crazy, right? That they were that smart enough to build it, that it was all ramps, so they could ride a horse and make the call to prayer. Man, alhamdulillah, to be young and healthy, man. There's some walk, I can see why, mashallah, they were smart enough to use the horse. We're at the 16th floor now. Oh, I think there's probably like 24, I would guess, or 20. But I see a lot of people stopping because it's hard work. But look at this, look at the shape of the windows. The Islamic arch. It just does not stop, man. 28, and they don't even built an elevator in here as well. Need to get with the times, man. Make this middle bit elevator. Hi. I see so many people struggling. Luckily, I'll be real with you, I'm actually not really struggling that much. But there are a lot of old people that are trying to crack on and get it. We're at floor 30, still pushing. Guys, we finally made it. I think it's over 40, I lost count at 40, man. It's probably about 50 floors. But finally, we're at the top now, where the adhan used to be called. MashaAllah, look at the view. Crazy, yeah? There's a guy just swimming in his little pool down there. Imagine every day, just hundreds of people just looking at you swimming in the pool. But look at the view, man. This is what I mean about Seville. It's like a maze, but it's just absolutely stunning. It does get super busy up here though. There was like a queue to come up because there was that many people, so it's not the biggest room in the world, you know. There is a lot of people trying to cram up here and a lot of people trying to hike it up that mountain of a minaret. Well, there's some really beautiful photo opportunities. There are like these little window areas all the way along, and you can come up and have your picture taken and see the whole city view. It's definitely worth pushing through. Overall, I think it's actually probably one of my favourite parts so far. It's a 270-degree view of the whole city. Obviously, this part, this side, I don't know why, maybe they're doing construction. It's not always shut off, but right now it is. So we get 270-degree view of the whole city. We can see this side, which is like a lot of the housing area, I'd say residential, and then this side over here is mainly like the river and the cathedral, and it's really, really beautiful. Right, time to trek all the way back down. All right, it's 34 flights of this. Felt like 50, but it's 34. Mission complete. Overall, that was an amazing experience, and I highly recommend every single one of you, if you come to Seville, definitely go to the cathedral here. I think it's so important. I said this 2 years ago in Bosnia. I think it's so important as Muslims that we actively go and look at the history of Islam. I think it's so important to remind ourselves what has happened in the past to Muslims, and also just the history of Islam. It's such a beautiful thing, and to see the architecture and stuff like that, it's really something special. So I think if you're a Muslim visiting Seville, I think you definitely need to visit the cathedral, which was once the grounds of the mosque. I find it funny as well because I already, most people that watch this video, right, if they're not Muslim, I already know what they're going to say. Because I've mentioned that this is a mosque, they will say, oh, look at Hagia Sophia, that used to be a church and now it's a mosque. Okay, now what? And just outside of the cathedral, which, by the way, I think I already mentioned, but it's the main tourist attraction here in Seville. Like, it's easily the most touristic place. And then there is also another place that we're going to go to after we have a little bit of food. And that place is going to blow your mind as well, because it's inspired by the gardens of Jannah, like Allah talks about in the Quran, right? It's inspired by that. So yeah, the streets here are very touristy, full of cafes and stuff. I don't recommend eating around here, because if it's the main tourist attraction, you know the prices are going to be just insane. So we're going to go this way, which is back to where we're staying, and I'm going to look for a nice little halal food spot, hopefully something Spanish or even Moroccan, because a lot of the Muslims here, they are either from North Africa, like Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, or they were actually just born in Spain and they became Muslim. So there's a lot of Arabic food here, Turkish food, and even last night, like I mentioned to you, I was looking for halal food, right? And I found the minaret place when I put Islamic food. For some reason, I don't know why that came up. But I actually went and had a kebab and it was banging. It was €6, and I'll show you the spot later. So if you come here, then you know where the fire food spot is. But there's quite a few halal food options anyway. So I'm hoping we can find some tapas or some nice churros and devour a good meal, because climbing that minaret, it was not easy. It's just crazy to me as well, like here in Seville, because there's just so many little back streets, right? You can be near the biggest tourist attraction, but then there are just these beautiful, quiet little streets. It's super Instagrammable as well. Look at it. Bro, I'm telling you now, that looks like a mosque. That actually looks like a mosque. Look inside here. Can you see? The tile work is literally like a mosque. That is crazy. I fell into it, guys. I fell into a tourist shop and I'm gonna buy this minaret that says Sevilla on it. I'm gonna buy it for my wife because she wasn't able to join me on this trip. She still hasn't got the Schengen visa, so she can't explore any of Europe yet, only Asia. So we'll grab this as a little gift for her. Hola. Hola. Just that, please. Before we continue any more exploration, it's time to get some tapas munching. We're at Tanto Monta. This place, online it says it's halal and it is halal certified. So everything on the menu halal, no pork, nothing haram. And they do like a cool menu, because you can buy, for example, you can buy the tapas version or you can buy the full plate. So tapas is basically like small bowls of food. You'll see, we're gonna get some anyway, but you can get like small little wings or a big plate of wings. They do croquettes, they do paella, loads of traditional Spanish dishes, and they also have outside seating, which, alhamdulillah, on this kind of day, I want to be sat outside eating some paella in Spain. So let's go inside and ask if we can sit outside, or maybe the outside seating belongs somewhere else. Hello, can you sit outside? Yeah. All right, let's sit here. So we've got the menu, we've got our seat secured. Look at this, in the streets of Seville, enjoying the summer sun. And we've also got the special dishes, which surprisingly they are pretty much all Moroccan, right? We have beef tagine with Moroccan flavors of saffron. We have the meatball kind of tagine. But what I think I'm going to go for actually is I'm going to go for a tapas croquettes and also a paella mix. When I was looking online at the menu, I was like, mate, it's all in Spanish. Like, how am I going to know what to order? But in the small font here, it actually says it in English. So I already know what I'm getting. These are the prices as well, look. So most tapas dishes are around €5 to €6, which works out to about £4.50, which I think is like super affordable. They're like bite-sized food though. It's not like a big plate of food. You'll see when it arrives, it's like nice little bowls of different things, so you can try loads of different choices. There's so many people inside the restaurant wearing Morocco shirts as well, because Morocco actually play today. The day I'm filming this, Morocco play France. So I can imagine tonight it's going to be crazy here in Seville. There's going to be so many Moroccans. This is the central area of Seville. This is where we are now at Tanto Monta. Well, as you can see around, there's actually quite a lot of halal food choices, right? Sometimes you have a problem though, like people leave a review, they'll mention like halal or something like that, like not halal, and then it will show up as halal on Google, so it's always better to check first. But there's quite a few choices, you know. You can go get a kebab, you can get tapas, you can get fried chicken. There's some good choices here. It's not like halal food is scarce at all. You can find halal food pretty easily. So after waiting around 10-15 minutes, the food has now arrived, and this is a unique way of tapas actually. I thought it would come in like little red round bowls. That's how I always see tapas, but This is what tapas is, just small little ways that you can taste the things, and then maybe you can come back and buy the full plate. But as you can see here, we have the mixed paella. I think they say it here is paella or something like that, because when I said paella, she looked at me like, it's not paella, it's paella. But it has seafood, it has chicken, and these croquettes are so unique, man. They have chicken, lamb, zucchini, and also Philadelphia cream cheese. So they sound absolutely delicious, and they come with a little sauce, and presentation is really nice as well. And then for the drink, I've gone for Fanta lemon. Man, growing up, as I mentioned, I always used to go to Spain as a kid, and I would always get Fanta lemon. And crazy story is, in England, you couldn't get Fanta, like 10 years ago, you could never get Fanta lemon in England. So it was like only a treat when I was a kid. I could get Fanta lemon, and it would be in Spain. So my mind, every time I see a Fanta lemon, I think of Spain. So I had to go and get myself a nice ice cold Fanta lemon. Anyway, it's time to now try the food. I am in a bit of a rush actually, because I want to try and get to the mosque for the Zohar prayer, and the mosque is not around here. It's like 20-minute walk. The mosque's here. You're gonna be surprised when I show you the mosque, honestly. From the size of the cathedrals we've seen today, when you see the mosques, I'm sure it's gonna shock you. So let's try the food, and then we'll try and get to the mosque on time for the Zohar prayer. Right, the first thing I want to start out with is the croquettes, because they actually came like 10 minutes ago, but I wanted to wait and show you everything together. So these have been sat for a while. They're probably cooled down now, so maybe it's a good thing that it took a while. Bismillah. They are so delicious. The inside is like really smooth mashed potato, which is what croquette is. It's breaded, basically, potato. It's really smooth, Philadelphia cheesy. And then this sauce, I don't know what it is, but it's super delicious. Banging. These are honestly so bang. I'll give the croquettes a solid 10 out of 10, bro. They're actually so fire. I'm gonna eat all of them for sure. Right, and let's try the paella. Paella is basically rice cooked with meat inside it, fish, seafood, that kind of stuff. So let's try it. Bismillah. Has some peas, some vegetables, some shrimp, mate, all sorts. Bismillah. Mate, that is actually so banging. I can just taste like loads of seafood where it's cooked into the rice. Like the rice has just soaked up all the flavour of the seafood while they were cooking it. Once again, super delicious. Mate, this spot is actually so good. Like, I feel like it's in the perfect location here on one of the busiest streets, as you can see. It's nice, you can sit outside, enjoy the sun. The food is all 10 out of 10 delicious. The prices are fair. And this is tapas, like I said, this is a small plate. So imagine if you got the big one, you can probably share it with like 2 or 3 people. So overall, definitely recommend this spot. It's called Tanto Monta. This has got the whole living ocean in it, bro. I swear. It has like calamari in here. It's got the pork shrimp. It's got little clam things, mussels, chicken, bro. It's so stacked. If, however, you are on a bit of a budget or you just don't really want to eat tapas, then this is the next spot I definitely recommend. I grabbed a kebab here last night and it was fire, and the prices are so cheap as well. This is my recommendation. Get this, which is chips and beef for only €6. Fire. And the name is Magdalena Kebab. Anyway, really nice halal spot. That spot was absolutely goated, mate. It cost €13 and 10. It works out to 11 British pounds. That is a bargain. For a drink and 2 tapas bowls, £11. That is so good. Really do recommend that spot. Right, we've now got a 20-minute walk to get to the mosque, so I'm hoping, inshallah, we arrive on time for the prayer. I don't know why when I'm traveling I always find myself to be late. I get like dragged in all the wrong ways, and yeah, I end up late most of the time, so I'm really hoping that we can make it on time. We're now outside of the Seville Mosque Foundation. This is the most central point mosque in all of Seville. And what surprises me the most is when you look over here, right? This building here is the mosque. And as we've walked around, we've seen these huge churches, these minarets that used to be mosques. And now the only mosque in the central part of the city is this one. And it's very small. And it's only 20 years old, this mosque. In fact, it's 25 years old. It was built in 2021, I believe, or 2022. So it's about 24 years old, 25 years old. But the plan for this mosque is much greater. They have been planning, since they opened, they've been planning to open a grand mosque. It's a €10 million Euro project that they're trying to work on. But for now, this is the mosque here. It's much, much smaller than, as you see, a lot of the other buildings around here. And that's one thing that I just find like really, really shocking, that when I went on maps and I was looking for mosques, all of them, and I mean all of them within this region, there are only about 5 or 6, all of them are just like apartment mosques. They're just one small room. It's not like there is no minaret, there is no like major grand building that says, oh, this is a mosque. Do you know what I mean? Like the other buildings here, and the fact that this place was obviously Muslim, and now this is the only mosque in the center. Anyway, we're gonna go inside the mosque now because I think it's about 5-6 minutes till the Zuhr prayer starts. So we'll go in and we'll pray the Zuhr, and I'll also show you inside the mosque as well. But yeah, this is literally the mosque. Look at it. This is the entrance. You wouldn't even think this is a mosque unless you look up here. It says Foundation Mezquita Sevilla. Mezquita is mosque in Spanish. All right, let's head inside. Oh, this is beautiful. Wow, mashallah, look at the entrance. So beautiful, all this wooden architecture, Islamic calligraphy, well, Arabic writing, and it's so beautiful. All right, let's head inside. So we've arrived into the mosque now, and this is what it looks like. A very small little like office area here where you can pay your zakat or sadaqah here on this machine. And then this is the mosque praying area just over here. This mosque is located in around the city centre. It's like a 20-minute walk from where we ate, and it's the only one in the city centre. All the other mosques are in the outer part of the city, which is where most of the Muslims live. But obviously, as a tourist, you kind of want to be in that centre. But the mosque itself is really nice. It's surrounded by these like wooden panels. It does have a women's prayer area, and the main area that I've shown you already, that's the men's prayer area. They offer thobes that you can just throw on. So in the hot weather, you're obviously wearing shorts walking around, and then when you get there, you can just throw on a thobe, which that's amazing. I wish I knew that, because I actually wore joggers and I was baking hot. But they have an outside area as well, which is obviously for the Juma prayer, and had a water fountain to top up your water and stay hydrated, because like I said, it's super hot here. And this is the main prayer hall that I'm showing you now, and the bit at the back, that was the women's prayer area. And now as you enter and as you leave, they have all the prayer times listed for each day, and they also offer these informational books for tourists in the door and also in the lobby area, which I think is really nice. What a lovely little mosque that was. It was very hot, don't get me wrong. It did have air conditioner, it had the fans as well with the lights. So it was kind of cool, but it was still really hot. You know, when they have the carpet flooring in these mosques in hot countries, it just makes you sweat like crazy. So I feel super hot now. But that mosque is a Sunni mosque, and all of the mosques actually in Seville are Sunni mosques. The Shia, that sect of Islam, they gather in privately and do their prayers separately. But that mosque was a Sunni, and the madhab they followed were they were Maliki. Yeah, they were Maliki, like Morocco. I could tell that from the way they were praying. They have their hands by their side like this, and that's how you know that it's a Maliki Sunni mosque. But yeah, lovely little mosque, and I really hope inshallah I come back here one day in the future. I don't know how long in the future this will be. Inshallah I get to see it, but I would love to see the end product of the grand mosque that they're actually planning to build. I would love to see it just come together and see a big beautiful mosque here in Seville. Sick, look at it. He's like got the tray balancing on his hand there like a waiter. You know how normally people do it, like where they spray themselves in like silver and gold and they just stay there for hours. Realised, but he had a sign on the floor that said, "No, don't take a picture unless you're gonna give him like change and stuff," which makes sense, innit? Like the guy's obviously he's there in the baking hot sun holding that tray in quite an awkward position, so it'd only be nice to throw him a little bit of change. I just give him €1. And we're just walking now to the gardens. As we're walking, I genuinely just can't get over how beautiful this place is. We have these like pink trees here. I think it looks like an embassy. I'm not really sure what it is, but it looks like an embassy anyway. Beautiful building here with this garden, some nice statues. And this is one of the main busy streets here because it leads to the cathedral all the way to the gardens that we're heading to. And of course, there's like a little metro system here. And the streets here are just so beautiful. I feel like I just want to punch myself because all of this time I've been telling you guys how much I love Asia, and I've been so obsessed with Asia, when this has been almost on my doorstep, you know, 2-hour flight to Seville from where I live. That's nothing, you know what I mean? I've been flying for like 19 hours to Asia and thinking that's like the happiest place I could be, but now I'm in Spain, I actually really love this place, and I can't wait to one day come here and actually bring my wife with me. Like I said, she hasn't got the Schengen visa, unfortunately, right now, but we're gonna apply for it soon, inshallah, and then she can explore all of this amazing side of Europe with us. Man, Europe is just so beautiful. Like I said, I feel like I've really just missed out on the fact that I haven't explored it enough. You know, I've only been to now Albania, Bosnia, and Spain islands, now mainland Spain, of course, as well. And one thing I forgot to tell you guys is Seville is super popular for this flamenco. This outfit is I believe it's the flamenco outfit. Flamenco is that kind of Spanish music and dancing that you might have seen before, where they wear those kind of like red and black dresses, flary dress, and the dress up there as well. You see it? The black and red one? They wear this kind of outfit and they sing, they play the guitar, they do like a dance. And Seville is really famous for that. You can go and watch it here in the center, like 10-minute walk from here, you can go and watch it live, but I'm not really interested by that, to be honest. I'm more interested so far in just more of like the Islamic architecture and the history here, because this trip to Spain, I'm only actually in Spain for 2 days. I have today and I have tomorrow, so 2 different videos of the Islamic side of Spain. We'll see Seville today, and next week on Friday, inshallah, we will also see Cordoba, which was the capital of the Islamic side of Spain. So yeah, 2 videos from Spain and 2 days in Spain. And as we're approaching now to the garden area, this place, I'm telling you guys, it's just so beautiful, man. Look at this. It's like so clean. Paradise, man. Everywhere there are these restaurants, beautiful trees, flowers, gardens. It is really something special, guys. Finally, I found the entrance now to the gardens, which is here. It's literally across from the cathedral. Like, if you went on Google Maps and you just put the name of the garden, then it doesn't actually bring you to the garden. You need to come to the cathedral and then it leads you. And the name of the garden is Jardins del Royal Alcázar. And the ticket price for this one should be 15 euros. I've read online that you need your passport when you come here, which I find really strange. I don't know why they would need your passport. So this is not as easy as I thought. I thought I'd be able to just come here, buy the ticket at a desk. But no, apparently it closed at 5 o'clock and it's 10 to now, so they've closed early. But I had to fill in all the details online. I'll put the link in the description so you can do it, so you don't get scammed by like a fake link or anything like that. But you just fill it in all online and then you get a QR code, and then you wait to your time slot. My time slot is 5:30, so I gotta just wait here for half an hour before I can go inside, which I'm a little bit livid about. Alhamdulillah, it's now 1:15, and 15 minutes early is the time you have to arrive here, and that's because they let you in 15 minutes before the time, so it's better just to book it online, man. I should have just booked it online and then came here, so I didn't have to stand and just wait for like 15 minutes in the sun. But saying that, I did have to bring my passport as well, and it was a little bit confusing and stuff, so I did ask for help from the people and they helped me. And you do need your passport, like you have to fill it in on the website, and then once you actually like get to the bit where they scan the QR code, they check all your details against your passport. Super strange, I'm not really sure why. Anyway, let's give you a little bit of backstory to this place. So we're inside now, the entrance part. We just came through here and there were some beautiful trees, some nice greenery and stuff. But this is the main courtyard, and this is the oldest active palace in Europe. Now, where does Islam come into this? So it was actually started by the Muslim ruler of the time here in Seville. So when we look around, you're going to see so much Islamic artwork and loads of little hints from the Quran and stuff, and it's going to be a really amazing experience to walk around this place. Already, just from here, the architecture is super Islamic. As you can see here, this is obviously the shape of the doorways for like mosques and stuff like that. It's really symbolic to Islam specifically. And the Muslims, like I said, they're the ones who started all this, but then it was actually the Catholics who took over it that finished it, and they used a lot of the Islamic artwork to finish it. So not everything you see that looks Islamic is actually built by Muslims. It's actually, a lot of it was built by the Catholics. They just really liked the Islamic architecture. Mate, look at this. This is like literally, I feel like I'm just walking into a mosque. It feels exactly like walking into a mosque or a really Islamic historic area, which it is. What? MashaAllah. Oh my God, look at this place. You can see this for yourself now as you look around. It just is Islam. You see Islam This is the symbols of Islam all around this building. Even the tile work like this, I mentioned to you earlier in the video, this is famous in Fez, Morocco. They are the masters of this kind of tile work, North Africa, and they have it here in Seville. But this is beautiful, guys, extremely, extremely beautiful. I know I keep saying throughout all this video that it reminds me of Morocco, but if you've ever been to Morocco, then I promise you when you see this, you will say the same thing. It literally looks exactly like something you will find in Morocco. This is beautiful. Look at all the intricate details of the tile work as well. They actually have a lot of like hotel riad kind of things here in Seville as well. I look very similar to this kind of structure. You know, when you stay at riads, they usually have like a nice little, what do you call it, like a fountain in the middle, and then it's like really beautiful rooms all around. It's like the same design as that. This place is a lot bigger than I actually expected. I thought it would just be a sort of simple garden with some symbolic stuff in there, but this place is huge, man. We were just over in that building over there, and then there is another sort of like courtyard area here with some little ducks, running water, and then all along here we have this like maze-like garden which looks pristine. And you know, these kind of gardens, I always think it's such an amazing thing that you have to pay to visit them, which sounds crazy, right? Me saying, oh yeah, it's a great thing that you have to pay. Usually I'm the one who's complaining, but I'm happy about it because it just means that everything stays in perfect condition. As you look around, you don't see any sort of litter anywhere. You don't see anything out of place. Everything just looks perfect, natural, and beautifully historic. So I'm really happy that the price for this was around 14 British pounds, 15 euros, and it's 100% worth it. So far, it's extremely, extremely beautiful. I can't wait to like dive in a little bit more and show you around this place because it just looks incredible. So the main link to the Quran of these gardens, when Islam was ruling the area, right? The Muslims were ruling, should I say? They started to build this garden, and the way they did it was through using verses of the Quran to make it a garden of paradise, just as Allah would describe it in the Quran. And one of the ways they did that is they divided this garden into 4 sectors, right? Because in Surah Muhammad, which is 47 verse 15, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that there will be 4 rivers in Jannah, right? There will be honey, there will be wine, there will be water, and there will be milk. So the garden is laid out into 4 sectors, and that is to symbolize the 4 rivers of Jannah and the unlimited source of water, milk, honey, and wine. MashaAllah, how beautiful is that, right? Like, how intelligent were these people to say, let's base this garden on how Allah describes Jannah. Like, that is so beautiful. And also throughout all of this garden is running water. There are fountains everywhere, there are little lakes, and the reason for that is in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says over 30 times, gardens beneath which rivers flow, because water is life, you know, everything starts with water. So that is another reason why water is prevalent throughout all of this garden. It's flowing everywhere through these beautiful gardens. There is water, which also links back to the Quran once again. MashaAllah, the people that had the ideas behind this, may Allah reward them, because that's so beautiful. And these gardens are so beautiful. They are so beautiful, so peaceful. They have little benches that you can sit down. There are also little water fountains. When I see them, I think of ablution, of course. Like, they look like little wudu fountains, but I think they're actually just, for example, like this one here, right? When I see this at first, I said to myself, oh, this looks like somewhere where you would make ablution. It looks like the place we would make wudu, right? You can put your little feet in a little bit. You can get the water in your mouth very easily, but I think it's just purely for decoration. And these gardens are huge, man. Honestly, I'm just walking around. I'm not really knowing where I'm going, and I'm kind of enjoying that fact. It would have been nice to have a guide, of course, for the information and the accuracy of the information, but at the same time, this garden, I think it's nice to just experience it by yourself, you know, walk around in the nature. It's very quiet here. You hear the water flowing. It's just a beautiful experience, and I feel like a guide constantly chatting. I just don't think I would enjoy it the same way. So this garden was designed exactly as Jannah is described in the Quran. So as we're walking through these paradise style gardens. I was just reflecting on why I actually started this series and why I started this channel, and that was to explore Islam around the world. You know, Islam has touched every corner of the earth, alhamdulillah, and it's such a beautiful thing, and there's Islam everywhere if you go looking for it. And so I really wanted to start this series to go around the major places here in Europe and just show you the history and also the modern day Islam, the communities of Muslims around the world, and also like how as a Muslim you can go to any place in the world and you will find Islam, or you will find a way to enjoy yourself in these countries as a Muslim. So that's kind of why I started this series, and inshallah we both gain some reward from these videos, you watching them and me educating you about Islam. So it's kind of like a two-way reward system. There's so much wildlife here as well. I've seen like little squirrels, I've seen the ponds over there, we're having fish and ducks, and then here in the middle of the park we have peacocks. Look at them, just strolling around, eating the grass. And we also have security guards all around this place as well, making sure that people are being respectful of the animals, respectful of the gardens, and making sure it's all maintained really well. But I didn't expect to see peacocks here.
على سرر موضونة متكئين عليها متقابلين.
I've come up to the walkway now, which was the castle looking structure kind of thing. You can actually come up here and see all of the beautiful gardens. We have this side, which is kind of like the maze, and then over this side, this is the main garden. This one is huge with loads of different seats, water fountains, extremely beautiful. And aside from the nature being absolutely breathtaking, the architecture, man, is just incredible. Like the details of everything is just, look at that. Wait, I don't think you can see because of the lighting, but look at that. The details are just so intricate. When I see this stuff, I always think to myself, like, how have we gone backwards in time? How do the buildings and the architecture look better from the past than they do today? I really think like minimalism has just killed creativity completely, man. Like if we were to build something like this today, it would just be minimalist. Wouldn't be interesting at all, but the detail they've put into this is just spectacular. I think they must do like shows or something here, because they've got like rows and rows and rows of seats, and then a stage over there. I have no idea what they actually do here. Actually, tell a lie, when I was buying the ticket, I almost bought a ticket for a show by accident. The price was like €7, and I was like, I thought the price was 15, and then I showed the woman and she was like, no, that's for the show, you want the garden. So you gotta make sure when you buy the ticket as well, you don't buy the show, you buy the garden. And the last stop before we leave the gardens is this amazing indoor park with some huge flags and really impressive artwork on the walls here as well. It's all paint and tiles, and you can't go and touch it or anything like that because it's the original. So obviously if people were going up and touching it, they would rub off the original paint, but the details are just incredible, man. There's loads of like royal figures in the middle and a lot of symbolism as well. Super impressive. Alright guys, before we end the video, I want to give you my final recommendation here for Seville in España. So, and that is the accommodation. I can't actually remember the name of it, genuinely I can't remember, but I'll leave it in the description and I'll leave a link as well on booking.com. I've paid £30 a night for this room, and it's in the centre of Seville. I think it's perfect for a couple or a solo traveller. However, for a family, I don't think it's very suitable just because of space. But anyway, this is the room. So we have this nice big bed as you walk in, and the pillars and everything is all matching, so it's really nice and aesthetic. It also has this like patio tile kind of floor, which is perfect because it keeps the room so much cooler. We have air conditioning, a TV with YouTube, Netflix, a mirror, just really nice decorations, and also a little desk here for working or doing makeup, I guess, for women. And then we also have this balcony, which I think all of the rooms include. I don't know how you open it though, so I've not actually been out. What the hell? How do you open it? Maybe you can't open it. Maybe it's just a view. Well, it's down a little quiet side street as well, so it's not noisy at all. And then there is also this wardrobe section, which you can hang your coat, your t-shirt, so they don't get all creased up. And then finally, we have the bathroom area, which as you can see is covered in my stuff right now, but we have a mirror, we have the toilet which is just down here, and then we have this really big shower as well. And I think for £30 in Spain, it's really good value for money. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. If you did, you can let me know by leaving a like, subscribing, and I will see you next week for another episode here in Spain, the Islamic side of Spain. In fact, we're going to be going to the Islamic capital of Al-Andalus, Spain. So I'll see you then, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.